So they both have 5 kids, okay? But the families look very different, right? This one, they've got to worry about driver's education and diapers at the same time, okay? This one, these kids are very similar in age, right? So you look at this and you're like, oh, you just have the kids one right after the other, right? Didn't waste any time there, okay? And family one, they spaced out their kids or whatever, okay? Whatever you want to say, okay? So if we're talking about spread, which family has more spread in the ages? Family one. Okay, this is very obvious, okay? There's more spread here. Over here, less spread. Okay? So one way, all right, so when you look at these numbers, it's very easy to see with a set of 5 numbers, and it's very clear. Okay, these are just illustrations, okay, of what this is and what this is. More spread, less spread. Okay, but other times you'll have different families or a different set of numbers, and it's not entirely sure and entirely clear who has more spread or less spread. Okay, that's where numbers like the IQR range help us to tell what has more and less spread. Okay, so the range is a very simple concept. All you do, the range is the largest number, or we say the maximum, subtract off the minimum. Take the largest number and subtract off the smallest number, okay? The difference between the largest and the smallest number. Okay, so what is the range of family 1? 15 minus 1. The range is 14 years. Okay? There's a difference of 14 years from the oldest to the youngest, okay? So in that case, the youngest child is probably not going to be best friends with the oldest child, okay? So when you talk, when there's a reunion later on, many years later, they'll say, oh yeah, your oldest brother and I always looked up to my oldest brother, but we weren't like best friends or anything, okay? Range of family 2.
4.
Great. 12 minus 8. 4 years, okay? So here we can see the range. It also indicates that family 2 has less spread than family 1, okay? Okay, so let's take, what's that?
Great.
I didn't hear something. All right, let's talk about the IQR. Okay, so that's the range. IQR, again, we're going back to the interquartile range. So the IQR is the interquartile range. It is the range, what does inter mean? In between quartiles, okay? It's the range between quartiles. Interstate freeways connect states. Well, they really just mean they have federal funding, okay? But the idea is that they connect states. Okay, here we're taking the difference between quartiles, okay? So the range between quartiles. All right, so let's talk about what a quartile is. Okay, a quartile splits up your thing into quarters. Okay, so we have the first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and also there's the fourth quartile, but we rarely refer to it. Okay. A percentile split our things up into hundreds, right? And the 50th percentile said, how much was smaller? 50% was smaller than the 50th percentile. We said the 30th percentile, how much is smaller? 30%, okay? So using that same idea, how much is smaller than one quartile?
25.
Yeah, 1/4 of the data. 1/4 of the data is smaller than the first quartile, or 25% of the data, okay? So 1/4 is smaller. So the first quartile is equal to the 25th percentile. Okay? So what is the second quartile? Second quartile is the 50th percentile, and there's another name for that. The median. Okay? So the second quartile is the median. The third quartile is our 75th percentile. And the fourth quartile
100.
is the 100th percentile, or is the maximum. Okay? So the first quartile means 1/4 of the data is smaller, or it's the 25th percentile. Okay? So when we're talking about the interquartile range, we're talking about the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. So the IQR is equal to Q3, or the third quartile, minus Q1. It's the difference between the third and first quartile. Is that okay? Yeah.
Sorry, I don't really understand. How is it the difference between the third and the first?
I'm just defining, I'm just telling you what the IQR is, okay?
Oh,
so,
okay.
So first I told you what the quartiles are, okay? The second quartile is just another name for the median, okay? 50th percentile, median, second quartile, those are all names for the same thing. Okay, fourth quartile is always also the same thing as the maximum, okay? So really what we're looking at is the third quartile and the first quartile, and the IQR is the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. Is that okay? Okay, so the IQR is Q3 minus Q1, or the third quartile minus the first quartile. Okay, so let's look at families again. Let's make this a little bit simpler, okay, by adding more numbers. But I think it'll make more sense. Okay, so again, let's look at an extended family. Okay, so let's say there's two families, and these two families they both have 8 grandchildren. Okay, so we're looking at the ages of the 8 grandchildren. Okay, so let's say this is family A and family B. Okay. So they both have 8 grandchildren. Okay, so family A, let's say 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Okay? And family B, also 8 grandkids. Okay? these are very possible, right? You can imagine two families where the grandchildren are spaced out as such, or as such, okay? Okay, so obviously, which family has more spread?
Family B.
Family B, okay, family B has more spread, right? Okay, and we can see it in the range. What's the range in family B?
23.
23, and what's the range in family A?
6.
6, okay? So that's one way to show that this has more spread. Okay, less spread over here. Let's talk about the IQR. Okay. So to find the quartiles, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the median. Okay, so finding quartiles, step 1 is find the median. So what is my median here?
3.
Okay, so if I had to draw a line at the median, where would I draw the line? Would I circle this 3, or draw a line between the 3? I would draw a line between the 3's, right? Because I got 8 numbers, so my number is the n plus 1 over 2, so 4.5 number. 3 is my 4th number, 3 is my 5th number. Okay, so my median is equal to 3. And I now have 2 lists. I've got this half is smaller and this half is larger. Okay, so I've split it into 2. Okay, so finding Q1, so step 1 is find the median and split your list into 2. Okay, you split your list in 2 at the median. Okay, and then the next step is find the median, the quote median. It's really the quartile of each half list. Okay, so my median is 3. All right, so here I've got 4 numbers smaller than the median. What is the median of these 4 numbers? So if I ignore these 4, and I'm looking at these, what's the median of those 4? 1.5, right? So if I look at these 4 numbers, the median of those 4 is right there, okay? This is Q1. So Q1 is equal to 1.5. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So using that same line of thinking, what's Q3?
4.5.
So median is 3. Q3 is 4.5. Q1 is 1.5. Okay. My IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So my IQR is 3. 4.5 minus 1.5 equals 3. My IQR is 3. Is that okay? So I'll say the lower half gives you Q1 and upper half gives you Q3. Okay, so don't shout out the answers, but take like 1 minute and find the median Q1 and Q3 for family B. Okay, should be pretty simple. Okay. Are we done? You need another minute? No one's saying anything. Okay, what's my median? 11, right? I've got 8 numbers. The number is between the 4th and 5th number, so my median is 11. What's Q1?
5.5.
5.5, right? I've got 4 numbers smaller, so my Q1 is 5.5. What's Q3? 16.5, okay? It's the numbers between 15 and 18. Okay, so what's the IQR? 16.5 minus 5.5, 11. Okay, it just happened to be coincidence that my IQR ended up being the median. Okay, in both cases, that was a coincidence. But yes.
For the Q1 and Q3 portion, when you count the numbers to make the median, you don't include the 11. You just
Yeah, you do not include this 11. Okay. Yeah, just take the 4 numbers that are smaller and 4 numbers that are larger, right? Do not include the median. Okay. Huh? Q3 is 16.5. Okay, 16.5. All right, is this okay? So when you see these problems next week and I ask you to find Q1, Q3, the IQR, and the median, 100%, right?
No problem. Yes.
No problem. Okay. All right, if you don't feel like you're going to get 100%, please ask questions. And with that, let's take a 10-minute break, and we'll come back.